To our honored guests, distinguished visitors, welcome. For you are now in the presence of the finest Rotary Club in the world. Go ahead. All right, put the bees on in the boy test of the things that they do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it be goodwill, better friendships?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Well, are you motivated?
No.
All right, well, let's carry on now. Oh, Lord.
Obviously, Gunny was here this morning. Hey!
Low roll.
Act like you're someplace. We have a few brief announcements. Maryland, the pancake breakfast.
Thank you. Moving slow this morning. Thanks. On your tables are the sponsorship forms. If you will, please fill that out and at least be a friend. A friend is $100, and this is our only fundraising event this school year, so we really need your help. Our goal is to raise $10,000 instead of $8,000 with the pancake breakfast. That's a lot of money at little $5 tickets. Two people who have donated to the silent auction for the event are Gary Piper, has donated a ride in his 1940 Piper J3 Cup. My husband and I did this last month. It's a blast, y'all. It's a wooden airplane. So much fun. And then Dr. Doris Farlow has donated generously some timeshares up in Gatlinburg. So that's interesting. I've got to read up on that. But thank you for your support, and let us get those forms to Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. And the date of our pancake breakfast is November 14th. So you can, enjoy Maryland's pancakes. And that will be at the reopened Jolly Olives. I don't see Delia today. Are they reopening today?
Supposed to open today.
Supposed to open today. So hopefully we'll be able to have that. Tracy Johansson, come on up here and tell us about our next service project.
Tracy.
This month we're going to be collecting books for a book drive, and the books are going to go to Skyline Hospital, and also the Sheriff's Department has requested them. So both of these are much needed or will be much appreciated, so I thought that was something that would be easy for us to do. So if you have any used books, paperbacks as well, because they can only have paperbacks at the Sheriff's Department in the jail. These are for the people that have been incarcerated. Bring them to the meeting next Wednesday and the following Wednesdays through the month, and leave them out front, and we'll pick them up afterwards. We'll also have one Saturday to be announced later. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. As Tracy said, paperback books are good. And actually, a lot of people who are going through rehab at Skyline, the Tennessee Christian campus, they're literally sitting there staring at the walls. I'm sure at the jail they have people staring at the walls. So, a book hopefully will change their opportunities. Speaking of books, Sumner County Schools have started, and we're in the process of getting ready for our dictionary project. Mike, do we know how many students we have yet?
Not yet. I'll start trying to figure that out
Next week, Mike will start figuring out how many third graders there are. This is going to be a challenge because some children are going to school virtually, but we'll overcome that challenge. And of course, our club has joined with other clubs and donated a dictionary to every third grader in the Sumner County school systems. My wife works at Nannyberry, and she has sent me pictures of the faces of the children when they get their dictionaries. For a lot of them, it's the first book they've ever had, first real book. There is so before I end that, bring your books next week. Kim's trunk is, we want to fill it up. Bring it the following week, and we will have a central location. We're still working on that. The governor, District Governor April Lieberman, met with the board, met virtually. Those of you who are longtime Rotarians know that it's always special when the district governor comes and speaks to the club and speaks to the board. We have our own past district governor here. It wasn't too special when he spoke because we have gotten to hear him all the time. But having said that, we will have a governor's visit, our official governor's visit in September, and it will be a virtual visit. We don't know yet whether or not Rotary will reopen. That was the one thing she told us as of December 31st. But they are working really, really hard. Some programs that in fact have been affected by COVID-19 include the youth exchange programs, and she gave us some information on that. Unfortunately, the information was we still don't know yet. You know, at this time, we in Jest have buddy check by our own Don Ames and the Hammer Michelle. But it's important to keep up with your buddies, and the reason, of course, is that not everybody can be here. We are on Facebook Live this morning, thanks to Kim and Mary Poole. Julie White normally takes care of that, but she's not here today. It is important. I do have to announce, we've had two resignations, I would say, wonderful Rotarians, Grace Guthrie and Ken May. Grace, of course, a longtime member of our club, and Ken May, a longtime Rotarian. He had moved here to be closer to his family and was the interim minister at Trinity Baptist Church. So if you get a chance, reach out to Grace and Ken. I told them they're welcome, obviously, to visit at any time, and we hope, you know, if life changes, that they'll rejoin us. But having said that, both of them are wonderful people and wonderful Rotarians. And, you know, one of the things that we get to do as Rotarians is honor people as Paul Harris Fellows. So, Seth, you and Bob, come on up and let's honor somebody as a Paul Harris Fellow. Woo!
By the way, we have a new Paul Harris Fellow banner.
Here, you go.
Can you hear me? A new Paul Harris Fellow banner this week. So check to make sure your name's right.
No, don't check to make sure your name is right.
It's not successful.
Who's going to talk? You going to talk?
I guess I'm talking. I guess I get the honor today. I don't know what the Paul Harris script is, to be honest with you, but I do get the honor today to be a part of something I think is going to be kind of cool. There was in life you run across people that are real loud and boisterous, and they, kind of the gravity of the room when they walk in. There's other people that have a huge impact that are very quiet, you don't probably ever know they're there. And one of those people for me that I got to have a relationship was ST. He had that kind of impact where he didn't talk a lot, he was very quiet. Man, he was a very influential person. Except on the golf course, I did get to experience a louder version of ST on the golf course. But we also have another one of those Rotarians. I'm not going to mention them because they've asked to remain anonymous, but they wanted to recognize somebody in the club as a Paul Harris Fellow. So, Dr. Doris Barlow, will you come on up, please?
Doris, you're almost as slow as me.
So, Dr. Barlow, somebody wanted to let you know that... Don't do that. Somebody wanted...
I still like to put the faith.
Well, don't fake.
Don't faith.
Somebody wanted you to know that they think a lot of you. So, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Hendersonville and the donor of the Shall Remain Anonymous, we wanted to recognize you as a Paul Harris Fellow.
Good morning. I'm sorry about that. I tried to clean it up, and I tried to do the right thing. But people, I keep messing up all the time. But Saturday evening, I almost died. All of the clothes in my sweat that my husband has been saying, get rid of the damn clothes! Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm not supposed to talk what he says. He's Colonel. And I should know better. But the clothes fell on me. I don't want to cry. I tried to make a joke. The clothes came down on my canes and on me and rushed me and knocked me down. I fell on the washing machine and the water softener and all the clothes, and I struggled to get up, and the tips of my cane pulled off, and I nearly fell on the concrete, the tile in my face bag. I got myself up. I yelled and screamed for my husband to come down and help me. He didn't hear it. He's losing his hearing, along with coming down with Alzheimer's. He's getting forgetful. I tell him things he can't remember. But guess what? I'm so old. I get days mixed up, go to the wrong place on the wrong day, go see my oncologist Friday. It was just Monday. Monday when I left the oncologist, Dr. Laura Barnes, who I have to see. I've been seeing every 6 months because I had breast cancer 2008, 2012. It's an eerie feeling, people, when you have to face people hooked up to those machines. I don't care how many years ago. When I left, I cried in my car when I finally made it. I backed over a curb pretty roughly. I drove home. I got home. Opened the garage. My car started screaming. The navigation system louder and louder. My iPhone started ringing. I hit the post in the garage. My SUV, whatever you want to call it, the large plastic on the right front finger, I did some severe damage to it. Nissan said, when I got it, don't call us or mom and tell us anything. Well, gee, I texted them right after it happened. I'm being wrong. I'll forget it, but anyway, I damaged it. I truly thank you for this honor. Like I said, I wasn't sure I would ever get it. But because so many of you
as a Paul Harris Fellow. As Bob said, we have our new banner for all of our Paul Harris Fellows. Plus, we have our new sponsor banner. Thank you, Don Ward, and for providing those to us. I did miss one announcement. David Black, you have a guest.
I do. Actually, our guest is here on behalf of the 4 Marines. Get this poor wayward Army guy here. Joe James is a veteran of Operation Enduring Freedom, and
Ain't that right?
and has been a very good friend for a period of time. And Larry and Duffy and Gunny and I, we decided to bring this young man into our beer drinking group. And we had him out last night, told him about Rotary. We thought he'd like to come by, see what we're doing. Yeah, he came anyway. He didn't have to be announced. But Joe James, great young man. Get a chance to say hello to him. A very inspirational young man.
That's a rough crowd, just drinking beer there.
Being the only Army guy yet.
He only had to buy us 4 or 5 of these.
My other response is when they ask if you know how to play poker, say no. Don Ames, do you have a buddy check for us today?
Well, certainly. I need,
The hammer? It's for the children.
It's for the children. Yes. Oh, you're hiding, yeah. Everybody.
Mary Phyllis, I don't know, still don't.
You still don't know. Still don't.
You need to get in touch with me.
Yeah. Let's get a buck from Milton. That's a good place to start. Reward.
Yes.
Hi. Everybody.
Susan, Mari,
That sounds good. Where would she be today?
I'll say she's in home. She works from home.
She does.
Well, I would say that too if I didn't know. Let's have a daughter. Have you been in touch with Susan?
I have not, but I do have her number now.
Well, there we go. Let's just start. Just give me
So that's
95 cents.
All right.
Yeah. No, I don't know what you like. No, here's your buddy.
John Madison. And? Yeah, he works from home as well.
I love it. You know who handles the money in this house? Lee. Lee.
I'm right here.
Hi, Lee.
Hi.
Hello. Where's your buddy?
Sandra Gaskins.
Where is Sandra this morning?
She is watching on Facebook, and she says, hopefully I can get it, see it this week. She said, honestly, I probably won't be back in person very often since masks are not being worn.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you've been in touch with her. Hello, Sandra, wherever you are. Who's got the, Hi.
Hi, Sandra.
Yeah. Mary Bull.
Yeah,
Where's your buddy?
Mr. Godfrey.
You never see him, do you?
No, but I actually got a text from him and he apologized for ignoring me. I told him that was unacceptable.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. John Esco.
Yes, sir.
Who's your buddy?
Robert
Where is Robert?
He is early office meeting.
Early office meeting. He didn't even, it's not surgery, nothing like that.
He said, I'm not going to be able to make Rotary again this morning, early office.
When did he send that one? Was that a few weeks ago?
This morning at 6:30.
Why don't you pull out some money, because you have won for 2 weeks in a row the first out person
my buddy, and she's on Facebook watching us this morning.
So there you go.
So there you go. Stan Warren.
Joey Montello, and my text at 7:21 says, I have an all-day webinar, so I won't be there today.
You can check that. It's 7:21, what day?
Today.
Okay.
Got me the truth, right?
Yes, ma'am, that's what it is.
Ready? Who's your buddy? Kendall Hall. Where's Kendall?
She has an early appointment.
Even he is a
Yeah, it's
brother.
Friday, it's actually working at 7:30.
What'd you get?
Received the text at 6:56.
Congratulations.
Well, Becker? Who's your buddy?
Greg Moats, watch online.
Greg.
Greg, give us a shout out.
I'll bet you $1.
Drop $1 today, people. Cash still exists.
I like it better when you Venmo me. Duffy?
Yes, sir. Jim Harrison, let me see, Jr., Jim T. Harrison Jr., wrote me this morning, said, Duffy, I may miss Rotary this morning. At best, I will be running late. I'm preparing for a long day work session. So, I thank him and wish him well.
Well done.
Yes.
So you all coasties, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Especially when they're so much older than everybody. Yes, sir.
This guy here was our regular last in. And he paid $2 because he missed the bucket going around, right?
Yes.
And wanted to be late, so I really appreciate that. But I would like to collect $1 from Andrew Felder, who is next to last. And I finally figured out what your deal is. You always come in last, next to last, whatever like that. But you wait until the bucket's going around. So you get to save $1. And now that you've saved that $1, you missed the bucket this morning, so give me $1 for being next to last in. Okay? I think that's fair. Anybody disagree with that? I don't care. All right, let's see if everybody's happy this morning. I'm going to start being happy. Because you all, I've got $5. You all were, it's right here. Y'all were so great. I can't tell you how thankful I am that when I had to do my little impromptu talk about the resource recovery board, that you all came up with 600. Word was somebody was actually $69 from their banker. And it was beautiful. That's great. Not only did we get the refrigerator for the recovery report, we also were able to get a microwave. Wow. And thank you all very, very much. Now for the kids, who's happy? Well,
He's really happy.
Alabama thing. Is anybody smacked in the face?
This is a whole.
I'm pretty tore up at the moment. Okay, just, I won't get, yeah, just throw it in. Go Bucks.
My buddy, the Honorable Lewis Oliver, is back.
Hey!
I'm very happy, especially since this money's going to the kids. I'm going to give $5. Y'all, we've asked a lot of our teachers the past six months or so. They are having to learn things that they didn't do college for, and they are having to adapt in ways that they never imagined. And they're doing an absolutely phenomenal job. At the same time, they're expected to spend an awful lot of time around an awful lot of people and not get sick. And it's very important what they do for us. It's very important for our community, and it's very important for our businesses. Without our kids going to school, it affects all of us.
Becker, yesterday was my 41st wedding anniversary.
Yes, that's right. You know, we ask for prayers, at the beginning of the meetings, and we don't always hear back from them, but my family had a health scare this week, and my brother-in-law, and he came through with his tests excellent, and I'd like to. Lee?
Really quickly, our daughter is, she was working in Olympic National Park in Washington State this summer, and she starts her journey back today. So prayers appreciated as she makes that trek. And then also that my son gets to play a regular football season. I just wanted to happen so bad, and it's not looking so great.
So I have two happy bucks. My first one is we have been working on a software migration at Rocky Knuckle Haney Law Firm for the last, I don't know how long before I got there. And we completed it last week, and everything is working, which is a good thing, very good thing. But my even bigger happy bug is, if anybody's my friend on Facebook, you've already seen this. At about 10 o'clock last night, when I took my dog out to go to the bathroom before the night was over with, he got sprayed by a skunk. So, my husband and I, he was already in bed, my husband and I spent the next hour scrubbing him and washing him, and he'd just come back from the Brewers and he smelled so good. And then he got sprayed by a skunk. But thankfully, my happy bug part is that the house doesn't smell this morning, and neither does he.
Okay, anybody else? I want to mention one thing I did at Curtin. Sandy Lowe's, who was executive director of the Literacy Council. I want to say that again. She's been here and spoken to us. Yes. We have supported the Literacy Council as our Rotary group. She passed away, in fact, her funeral and visitation today. We're going to miss her a lot. She's been phenomenal. She was a high school, or she was a school teacher, or administrator. She was the president of the school. She's done a lot of things for the community, and she is Jeff Coker's mother-in-law. Anyway, great person, and sorry for this. Okay, that's the end of that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, and Michelle, thank you as always.
Hey, Michelle.
And thank you to all of you who knew where your buddy was. That was pretty impressive. To those of you who didn't, please reach out to your buddy this week. I've already said hello, good morning to my buddy, Dr. Jerry Faulkner, who's going to come up now and introduce our speaker.
Thank you. We're fortunate at Volunteer State Community College to have a branch of the Tennessee Small Business Development Center. Our director, Charles Alexander, is going to tell you exactly what it is they do there. But many of you in this room represent lending institutions that help small businesses, and you help those businesses and you contribute to the cost of running the Small Business Development Center. Many of you here represent government entities, cities, counties, and we appreciate the contributions as well. And so we're fortunate to have the Small Business Development Center. We're very fortunate to have Charles Alexander as the director. I get to hear Charles speak 2 or 3 times a year at chamber meetings and other opportunities, and he always shares a wealth of information. Small businesses are the lifeblood of America. We appreciate the large corporations, but small businesses are the lifeblood of America. And helping them survive and thrive is what Charles does best. So please welcome Charles Alexander.
So how's your 2020 been? Mine's been interesting. Quick show of hands, who in here has ever heard of the TSBDC? Handful of you. It's not the best name ever. Don and Duffy were literally joking, or asking if it was Croatian, since we decided to forego all vowels. But it's pretty simple. It's the Tennessee Small Business Development Development Center. Been at Ball State since 2007. I've seen every change humanly possible regarding small business owners, where we started out with this thing maybe called MySpace, I'm not sure what it was, to now social media dominates every aspect of our lives. Phones used to be the size of that podium now, and now they're just these magic devices in our pockets, and now we have a national, worldwide pandemic that we get to deal with. But what we do is very simple yet very effective. First and foremost, we offer free one-on-one advising for anybody that owns a business or even wants to start a business. How many small business owners do we have here? Good, a good handful, and I'll bet a lot of the rest of you get to deal with small business owners quite a bit. Then we also do low cost or free training. So when I say free, I often get that funny look. Free folks, people like free, but they also want to know what's the catch. So the way the Small Business Development Center works is pretty simple. Half of our funding comes from the Small Business Administration, which has gotten a lot of publicity since March. That's a federal program. So who funds the federal government? That's right, us. Maybe a little bit of China. So the other half comes from local donations, and we go every year to, a lot of you in this room, to chambers of commerce, banks, utility districts, city government, county government, industrial development board. Ball State last year put in some monetary match, money. They also give me a place to stay and hang my hat. We just have to match what the SBA gives us. So the catch is that I have to get folks to let me brag about them a little bit. All the coaching and the advising we do is free. It's confidential, but I have to track it, get real economic impact that I can show that works. So if I work with a sign company, and I get that, we work together with a sign company starts, grows, hires people, I send them an email, a survey. All they have to do is reply and say they did or didn't do stuff. This sounds really easy, right? Because people are happy to get a free service, so they'll obviously reply. But I have found out that I'm sometimes like that nerdy kid in high school that helped the pretty cheerleader pass the algebra exam. And now we're at prom and I'm waving at her, but she doesn't seem to remember who I am. Now wait, I don't even want to dance with her. Donna's just wanting to wave back, get a little street cred, but that's fine. So when people reply, I get to put together a cute little report that says we met with a bunch of folks and people came to workshops, but most importantly, real economic impact happened. Jobs were created, businesses were started, capital investment occurred. And I am happy and sad to say next year's numbers will dwarf these. They will be an anomaly in a 13-year career. Most or all of these numbers will be double, tripled, or quadrupled. Since March 17th, may not be correct, I got to start working from home quite a bit. And I will tell you, not just because the boss is sitting here, but I've worked harder from home than I swear I ever did in the office. For about a month straight, I worked every single day through a Good Friday, a couple hours on Easter, and that's not to play pitiful because I was the one answering the calls. The ones making the calls were in much more dire straits. The small business owners who had started shutting things down, customers kind of went away and needed to figure out how are we going to make it through whatever this is going to be and how long it's going to last. So a lot of you heard about and even probably got PPP loans, payroll protection, I don't know why they use so many P's, program, and then the EIDL, which is Economic Injury Disaster Loans. PPP, actually EIDL first opened, and for those of you who ever applied in that first week, used all the colorful language that Ms. Doris claims that she uses, but probably much worse, because it was a train wreck trying to apply for it. They finally wiped out the online program, restarted it, and became much easier, and that's an actual loan. They had an advance for it. You can still apply for that loan. It's 3.75% over a 30-year period. They defer the first year, but the advance no longer exists, and it'll stay open until about December 31st or whenever it's used up. PPP has finally went away. There's no more applications available. Maybe there will be a second round of it. I don't have a clue. Whatever I tell you, go ahead and assume it's the opposite because I've been wrong with about everything I have guessed so far. In the forgiveness period, I'm starting to get a lot of people email and question that. How do we get forgiven for these loans? Wasn't it supposed to start June 30th? They haven't done that yet. My mere guess, and it's not a SBA, TSBDC, Ball State thing. Charles Alexander's guess is that they're going to keep postponing that and probably find a way for anybody that got $150,000 and below to make it very simple, hopefully knock on wood, maybe almost a self-certification process to where we're not putting these small business owners back through, back trying to figure out how to get that loan forgiven. The SBA does not want to go back to Congress and say, oh, by the way, we went and recollected about half of those dollars that we were going to give away. That's not something that I think they want to do. And now there's also CARES Act tax credits for people that are unable to return to work. For those of you that already know, there's school has started. And in Sumner County, that means 3 days a week, me and my wife are playing homeschool. And I say playing homeschool, we're doing a pretty good job of it so far, but it's early. A lot of people aren't able to return to work. There's credits for that. And part of the CARES Act meant that the TSBDC, and by TSBDC, Nationwide Small Business Development Centers, got additional dollars, not for our center, but to work with consultants, to hire them to help small business owners. The two programs that I started and partnered up with, first and foremost, is an HR program with on-demand solutions, based out of right here in Hendersonville. They are working with small business owners to walk them through the process of rehiring their employees and making sure everything, all the I's dotted and T's are crossed. So if you are looking at or know somebody that needs to go through the process to begin rehiring, this is a deeply discounted program where we can make that happen for you. And also another thing we got to do is start a marketing course online, only 100 Cups Academy, also a Hendersonville-based business that is walking people through a 6-week program to help them figure out how to restart their marketing, so to speak. That next course will start September 3rd. So a little bit of advice people keep wanting to know from me. And I'll be honest, I don't have a whole lot of the answers. This is new to me like it is you. What I've been telling people to get unstuck is to reset your goals. A lot of us are still trying to cling to what we decided 2020 was going to be. And it's it's ironic. Everybody and their mother had 2020 goals, right? Every major corporation, city, county, 2020 vision. Everybody had that. Best laid plans, right? We can still make 2020 a success, but you need to reset your goals. What do I need to survive? And that is just taking a look at, well, how many customers do I need? What's the average sale? What have I done that has worked in the past? And just pen to paper. Or get real wild and do an Excel spreadsheet, but it's time to reset those goals. And then your marketing. Marketing is as tough or tougher than it has ever been. Everybody and their mother has overused, myself included, the word pivot, restructure, we're not going to participate. And those are good things to tell people. They can also come off a little tone deaf. So yes, people still need to be online, but unfortunately that's where everyone is right now. Don't worry, I got a slide on that too. So you need to follow up with your leads relentlessly. And that's something that I've always told people, but have usually fallen on deaf ears. When you have a lead, this is a little dramatic, but you need to go into buy or die kind of mode. It takes people 7 to 12 times to hear from you before they know you exist. So that 1 or 2 times we kind of follow up sheepishly, if you need anything, just let me know, does not work anymore. We are inundated and busier than ever. Doesn't mean we're more productive, we're just busy. So it takes multiple times to follow up with that individual. You need to get to the point where you're creating your own content. And I know that's another overused buzzword, but just reposting stuff and resharing stuff that someone else has created doesn't make you stand out. Get in touch with your previous customers. You'll find a lot of them are in the business of rebuying whatever it is you have to sell. Not to mention they are a good source of referrals, and continue using social media. Employees. This is a tough one, but make sure you stay in contact with them. This has been a difficult issue. There's a lot of unintended consequences. I have a lot of small business owners whose employees are sitting at home because they can make more money there. That's difficult. But if you want them to return when it's time to return, make sure you stay in contact with them. And even worse yet, it's also maybe that time to top grade. It's an old term, I think it's Welch used that one in a book that was about the size of War and Peace, but essentially you're turning the bottom 20% of your roster. It may be time to find out who belongs and who doesn't. And yes, cut overhead. 2 things not to cut, marketing and bookkeeping. can't stress that enough. Too many people right now, when I ask them about what they're doing for marketing, they say, well, we're not spending any extra money. This is like saying, I'm going to go on a cross-country trip. It's going to be a tough one, like what we're doing now. I'm not going to put any gas in the car because I'm not spending extra money. It's not extra money. That's what we have to do in order to keep the car going. And God bless, do we have any CPAs in here? No, they're all home trying to get people to pay them. What a tough business right now. Oh my word, every one of them that I talked to, part of the funding that we were getting or are getting from the SBA, I was going to partner with CPAs to help people walk through the PPP forgiveness portion. May still do that depending on how it plays out. But so many of them were like, hey, but can we use this to catch people up? Well, what does it mean catch people up? Everybody quit paying us. Because, they postponed the tax deadline, so I don't need to pay my CPA until we get to, July 30th, right? So make sure you stay on top of it. Examine your expenses line item by line item. That's personal expenses too, folks. I have a lot of people that are struggling to keep the doors open, but they're still paying Comcast, Verizon, every dollar they humanly have, plus they still manage to find a triple or two down to 38, which is great. But if you don't have the money for it, might need to find a way to reinvest. And last but not least, and I hope this doesn't hurt your feelings, I assume not, turn the TV off and put the phone away. As I say that, I want you to be informed citizens, and that's always the excuse I get. I mean, I've gotten hardcore about it. Since March came around, I didn't go necessarily underground to stay on top of what I needed to, but I needed to get laser focused because my phone rang off the hook morning, noon, and night. And that's what I needed to do. But I have a lot of people that stay glued to their phones, and they stay glued to the TV, to the angry podcast, or whatever they're listening to, and it is rewiring a lot of us. As I say that, how it affects small business owners, they literally get frozen and can't make decisions. Just wait to see what happens. Really? Because you're right at a six-figure business. I'm pretty sure whatever happens is not going to generally affect you as much as you affect you. And the reason I say it's upset folks, I have friends on, let's say, both sides of the aisle, so to speak, and both of them to a T. Literally, I had like back-to-back texts and back-to-back days and said, Chuck, you're part of the problem. And that's how I can tell we're good friends because they called me Chuck. And one of them was as far right, one of them was as far left as they could possibly be. And what they meant was when I told them, you need to turn it off, they got upset because that was messing with their drug of choice. Yeah. They needed to be informed all the time. And every 2 minutes, they check the phone. Every 2 minutes, they check the TV. Every 2 minutes. But what were they getting accomplished throughout the day if they're doing that? Not much. Now, if you're going to take all of that information and you're going to go do something with it, you're going to make a big positive change in the world, get after it. That 7-8 hours a day is a good use of your time. But for a lot of the rest of us, we're not doing anything other than just being, quote-unquote, informed citizens. And for those of you that don't believe me, you can probably check right now. Any of you guys have iPhones? Nobody likes where this is going, do you? All right, take 24. We have a minute. Pull out your iPhones. And those of you with Samsung or LG or whatever else, I apologize. I don't know how those things operate. But if you'll pull out your phone, and you're already half distracted because it has all these little alerts on it, don't read those. But if you'll go to settings, there's a little thing there called screen time. Oh yeah, it's real. And it's not Big Brother watching you. I mean, it is. But it's literally an opportunity for you to see how much am I online. Maybe yours isn't activated. You'll need to do that. Because what you're wanting to figure out is how much am I on my phone. Because when I tell people, especially small business owners that are just so, when I ask somebody, Don, how are you? I've been just so what? I've been so busy. We've said I'm so busy to a point where we've been stuck at home for months. I'm just so busy. Just so much going on. Are you making more money? No, we can be busier. Isn't that crazy? Well, this is where a lot of our time, effort, and energy goes. And the average person spends about 4.5 hours a day on their phone. And when I talk to people, they say, yeah, but, I'm different. And then they tell us why they're different with the same thing that everybody else says, well, why they're different. Right. It'll tell you, I mean, what apps are you using the most? What are you searching the most? What are you looking at the most? Because I can guarantee you most adults can get by with about an hour a day. And I'm saying that. I'm patting myself a little humble brag here. I've got mine down to about 45 minutes to an hour a day. And I still don't even know what I'm doing for that hour a day. But if you could save yourself 3 hours a day that isn't misspent trying to stay on top of everything in the world and reading every meme, GIF, or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it, and all the clickbait headlines, your brain will free up to do a lot of more interesting things in your business. And who are you giving the eyes to? You looking over at the husband?
I didn't look over that way at all.
Just glance. But that 3 hours a day, folks, I did the math on it. That's 2 months a year. Over a 6-year period, that's a year of your life misspent trying to be an informed citizen. You don't have to be that informed, unless you're Walter Cronkite, but I don't think he's walking through that door. So, for small business owners, and that's where the message is generally meant for, it's really for everybody, put that stuff away for a little bit, get a little more laser focused, and your day will free up to do all of the other interesting things we discussed. So that's why we exist over at the Small Business Development Center. Go to our website, have a lot of cool workshops coming up online, still doing a lot of individualized counseling in a wide variety of ways, mostly through phone, email, and Zoom, but we're here to help. Thanks, folks.
Hey, Charles, I might keep this one. Star Wars Made Easy. We donate a book to a library at, this one goes to Gene Brown. Just if you would, write a little message there. I might want to keep that one, though. Let's see. Thank you again.
Great job.
The Industrial Development Board here in Hendersonville is one of the financial sponsors of the of Charles's program. And I can remember when he came and made the first presentation, he didn't have this. With that, Brenna, where are you?
Back here.
Come up and give us our thought for the day.
All right. So, in honor of my skunk moment, one of my jokes. What did the tomato say to the other tomato during the race? Catch up. I know, that was really bad.
Yeah, don't bring that one back.
What did the drummer name his twin daughters? Anna 1, Anna 2. Okay, now for the serious motivational part that you guys really like. So Steve Marhully said, we all make mistakes. We all have struggles and even regret things in our past. But you're not your mistakes and you're not your struggles. You are here now with the power to shape your day and shape your future. So go live out love.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you. Yeah, now I'm I can do the next week.
Yes, we have. One that got